All right, guys, so once again, I had a conversation recently and it triggered some ideas for a video. Now, we've done videos on this before, but I want to try to address it again today and maybe a little bit differently. For those who may not know or haven't thought about it, it's very, very common to not necessarily think about this exact thing, especially if you're newer to Photoshop, but even if you're not, because a lot of times we learn processes and methods and we kind of replicate those steps, especially when it comes to creating layers, right? And we replicate them and then we just use them repeatedly, but we don't always fully understand little minor details, right? So layer order is super, super, super important. So let's start with a demo to explain why that is and maybe a couple other demos and see if we can kind of, open your eyes to that a little bit in case you haven't thought about it. It could be actually crucial to helping you get the results that you want to get in Photoshop, but it can also help explain why maybe you're frustrated or having some issues potentially. Let's go over it and see. Now, on your layers window, layers you can add adjustment layers, right? That we have all of them down here or wherever you like to keep them. And of course, regular raster layers, and you can modify layers in all kinds of ways. There's masks, there's smart objects, and there's all kinds of different things to do with layers. But the fundamental element about layers is the layering, is the order. One on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, right? It's very linear in how it works. Now, we take that for granted, and in most cases, it doesn't entirely matter. It doesn't matter that much anyway, what layer order we do things in. But sometimes it can become detrimental, or you might be working against yourself and not realize it. So let's do a quick demo. For example, what I've set up right now, this is a gradient map where the dark side of the images, the low luminosity, is bright red all the way to the brightest luminosity being bright green, right? And then everything in between. This is going to help us visualize what this gradient map is doing, right? So what does a gradient map do? We need to talk about that real quick because the gradient map is going to map or remap colors and luminosities over the existing one. So what I just said right there was that the red is the dark areas and the green is the light areas. And that is important. That's going to help us watch what the ranges are doing depending on what we do. So let's try some examples. Let's do classic curves. A lot of people will pop up a curves layer to brighten and darken. Great tool for that and lots more, right? Okay, so we put it now, this is crucial, on top of the gradient map, okay? Normal settings, no blend mode, just leave it on normal. Let's see what happens when we brighten. Okay, getting a result that you sort of expect, right? It gets brighter and, the green's starting to get a little lighter green, right? As it gets brighter. And then when you darken, everything gets super dark. It is affecting the luminosity of the image down below. And as you can see, it's pretty predictable, but I want you to pay attention to what happens when we go into the darker areas. As I darken it, you'll note, pay attention now, that the red and the green, but specifically the red, it's not changing its range at all. It's just darkening every existing element, especially the greens. We go over that and some other reasons and other reasons why in other videos when it comes to just color science and human perception. Okay. But the key is that the range hasn't changed. And why is that important? That's important because a gradient map works specifically on luminosity range. So that green and that red is remapped over those luminosities and it's not changing because there's nothing underneath it. So I want you to consider it that we're sending data upward into your layers window. Okay, so it goes up, it gets affected. It keeps going up to the next layer, and then that layer does something to it. But it does something to it based on what's below it. That's the whole premise of blend modes, for example. But layer order is important, even just literally the order that they're in. So the curves, we darken. I'm going to keep doing the darkening demo here. You see, the range does not change. In fact, we start introducing other elements like the dark black. We start losing the saturation. The brightness goes down real low because we're modifying what you see here on top of what you see here. Now, let's take curves and put it below the gradient map. Okay, gradient map, I want to repeat, remaps the color and luminosity based on the luminosity range from left to right, meaning left is the dark areas, right side is the bright areas, and we have it red to green for visualizing. Now, use the exact same curves, but except this time below it. We darken, and instead of darkening, what are we doing? We're expanding the range of the red. And if we brighten, we expand the range of the green. Now, why is that? Why are we expanding the range of the green? I can do a direct test. Watch this. I put it up on top. Completely different look. Okay, again, let's go in order here. We have the image itself. Okay, then we darken it. And then we add something, in this case, it happens to be a gradient map, something that reads the luminosity of the image that's coming below, right, whatever layer, and then applies this red to green gradient map based on the luminosities. Well, there's a lot of dark. And because there's a lot of dark, red takes over. See that? But when you put it the other way, then now our order is this. We start with the colors, right? The ranges cannot change because we've already done the luminosity mapping. The remapping has been done. Now we take what we've done with the luminosity remapping and we brighten or darken. It's a different feel. Now that is very, very literal, and it's a good demonstration because it really helps you visualize, but it's not the most practical thing. I don't think you're going to do this very often, but it gives you an idea of why that's important. Now, in a practical sense, why that might be important, apart from gradient maps and some pretty heavy things like that, it could be as simple as we're going to continue the trend of luminosity mapping or luminosity ranges in general, excuse me. Let's go to like a selective color, right? So we have a selective color, and then we come here to our blacks and we pull out some yellows to get like a yellowish, a bluish look in our shadows, right? See that? You can probably guess where we're going with this, right? So if I take a curves layer on top, now everything I modify will not affect the luminosity range. The blue, which is because we pulled yellow out of the shadows, is set up via the selective colors range of whatever black is. I'm going to put on relative, a little more soft actually. Whatever range selective color uses for its shadows or its blacks is fixed now because we're not changing that data before the color hits. The color has hit, and now we can brighten and darken. That's important. So for me, this curves layer on top of the color, I would see it as a mastering layer. The color is all good. Everything is the ranges that I want everything to be at, whether it's 1 layer or 20. And now I can master with curves or with levels or anything at all, right? That's my mastering level. Now below it, if I put it below it, to me, that's my corrective layer, right? So now if I darken, the blue expands in the range. If I brighten, the blue minimizes. Look, there's no blue now because we're not sending very much dark data into the selective color. Now, you don't have to think about it this way and this literally, but subconsciously, little things that I do, like for example, when I have my layer order, apart from how whatever layers I might use to do a cleanup and to do the utility work, healing, dodging and burning, frequency separation, etc. On top of that, then I have my finalization layers, which includes final correction, color grading, and then finalizing, which is what I call mastering, right? So in my order, after let's pretend this edit is all cleaned up and ready to go, what I may do first is, okay, is it too dark? Is it too bright? Does it need more contrast? Does it need less contrast? I will probably add something like a curves, and most likely I'll put it on luminosity blend mode, and then I can mess with the contrast. Cool. That is my corrective contrast. I felt like the shot was too soft. Now I have a contrast boost. Cool. So I'm happy with this and I'm ready to color grade, for example. So then I can take a selective color, perhaps on color blend mode, right? If I want to, okay. And then do some little bit of grading. Just something. I'm just going to get something real quick here, guys. Okay. Now I have a cool little grade. That's cool. And then on top of that, let's say, okay, I like what the color is done, but I'm going to master it. So I'm going to put a levels, potentially even on luminosity blend mode or not. And then I'm going to soften the shadows a bit and brighten up the image overall. Okay, so this could be, like I said, right now it's 3 layers, but it could be 40. It depends on what you're doing. It could be a plugin. It could be color grading done with a CGP or something like that. It could be all sorts of things, right? But for now, this is the final edit, if you will. Okay, corrective luminosity changes of some kind because I felt it needed something, color grading, and then mastering. This is very, very important. We don't do this opposite because right now it may not be a big deal if I take my contrast boost that I did on corrective. If I put it on the very top, look, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It's very, very subtle. See that? Very subtle. Almost no difference on the video for sure. So that's not mission critical right there. But getting into the habit of understanding why your layer order is important, perhaps the blend modes that you're deciding on, corrective, and then even color corrective comes below color grading, right? That buildup of layer order is not something that we should take for granted, and a lot of people do, at least in my experience as an educator. And again, it's because we learn a process and someone shows us on a video to use XYZ layers and we use them, but we don't necessarily always think about layer order. So this is why I say that we don't have, or rather we shouldn't have, memorizing methods of do these exact layers every single time. Not so much, but we conceptually have ideas about, you know, our cleanup edit, our cleanup layers, whatever they may be, corrective luminosity, which is brightness, darkness, brightening and darkening, I should say, contrast boosting, contrast reduction, overall exposure, etc. And then we have corrective color potentially, or you can do them in opposite order if you want. I tend to do corrective luminosity first. Then we have our color grade, which can be 1 layer or 20 or a plugin or whatever. And then the mastering to me is Sometimes I'll master with color. Sometimes I like the overall look, but I want to reduce the saturation potentially or something of that nature. And again, that's on top in my finalizing mastering layers, right? So that's me. And that's something that I recommend that you consider when you approach your edit. But just keep that in mind that that is very, very important when it comes to layer order. So if I did something extreme, let's go to absolute here. And let's get a little more intense on what we're doing with our shadows. There we go. All right, so now, just to remind you, if the curves underneath, this is my corrective curves. If I decide the image needs to be way brighter, it's going to get brighter, but I'm losing the blue. And if I decide the image needs to be way darker, it's going to get darker, but whoa, why is the blue so strong? That's what I call a false positive. Why is the blue so strong? It's because you're sending more low luminosity information into the selected color. If that was on top, the blue wouldn't be quite as dominant. It's still too dark of an edit, but as you can see, so the kind of a rule of thumb is that the more intense, the more aggressive your changes are, your edits are, the more layer order is going to be absolutely crucial. So just keep that kind of thing in mind. Play around with it. Depending on layer order and blend modes, things can become a mess really, really quick, or they can be exactly what you want. If you're doing very, very subtle edits and what you've been doing works great and you're happy with your color, great, sweet, awesome. But just keep that in mind about layer order. It is very, very linear going from bottom to top.